Hello everyone, Time to Grind here, and today I wanted to talk about SHEEPO. And SHEEPO is a really fun and quirky Metroidvania platformer that's a little on the shorter side, but it's filled to the brim with unique ideas, extremely smart game design, and a unique and charming style. But before we get into the review though, I do just want to let you guys know that I was given an early copy of the game in order to make a review for you guys. I don't let that influence my reviews. You can look up my Crucible review in the past for an example. I just like staying as transparent as possible for you all. But either way, let's just jump into the review. So SHEEPO starts out with this cute creature being told by its spaceship that it needs to go to this planet and obtain one egg from every single creature there to help preserve all the different species in the future. What's really interesting and quirky about this game though is that the AI gives you a gadget that allows you to turn into any species that you previously got an egg from. So you go through a pretty helpful and clever tutorial and then you get thrusted into the world. And there's no real combat in the game, it's pretty much all just platformer based. So you have a double jump, you can wall jump as well, and then you pretty much just start exploring the first area. You have a map similar to other Metroidvanias like Hollow Knight, though I will say that the map in this game gives you a lot less information, especially at the start, than other Metroidvanias. Each area you go through just shows up as one box on the map, so you eventually start to remember where certain areas are as you would with every other Metroidvania, but it would kind of be nice if the map resembled the areas a little bit closer to what they actually are. But the map is honestly one of the only slight complaints I have with the game. Every single area is super different and unique, and because the game is all about platforming instead of combat, the platforming is really good. The controls themselves are super responsive and perfect, and the platforming puzzles and challenges that the game keeps throwing at you to get through certain areas are one of the highlights of the game. None of them were too challenging, but there were a lot of them that did make me think or really put my skills to the test. And eventually you find your first boss, and I'm not going to show all of the bosses in the game because I don't want to spoil the whole game for you, but the boss fights are one of the best parts about this game. There is a boss fight for each egg in the game, and since there isn't really combat, most of the boss fights are either endurance tests, like the bosses keep attacking over and over in unique and interesting ways, or it could be something where you try to climb a tower super fast without getting hit by the boss. And some of them have parts where you need to get the boss to attack itself to kind of make up for the lack of combat. But all the bosses look super cool and feel super unique, and they all feel really inspired. You can tell a lot of time and effort went into these. And so when you kill your first boss, you get the first species egg, and this allows you to become a bird creature anytime you see one. So this allows you to travel through a lot of the areas you had previously been through without having to do all of the hard platforming stuff, but it also allows you to access areas that you hadn't been able to previously. And this is obviously where the Metroidvania aspects of the game come in. There'll be certain areas that you can't access until you are able to take control of certain creatures by finding their eggs in the world. And I really like how this Metroidvania works. You know, instead of it just giving you the new abilities like being able to fly or dig or climb walls, it limits you to only being able to use those abilities when it wants you to by, having one of those creatures in the world. And it really allows the game to keep making all the platforming puzzles and challenges super interesting. Because if you could just fly everywhere, it would kind of take the challenge out of a platforming game. And there's also feathers throughout the world that you can find hidden in areas or by completing extra hard platforming challenges, and there's also some super unique rooms that make you do some unique things to get a feather. Like one area is like a pachinko game that you have to win to get a feather, and with these feathers you can buy a small amount of items to make your map better or to just open up new areas in the world. And overall, this game is one of the more linear Metroidvanias I have played, and I did beat the game in around 3 hours, but there's also a hidden door at the end of the game that only opens up when you have 100% of the game completed, so that means that getting all of the feathers and, all of the secrets, that would probably add about another hour or two of gameplay if you're really wanting to do that. And on top of that, there are different difficulty settings, so if you played on not the hardest difficulty, you could just play on a harder difficulty for some more more replayability value. But just because the game was short and slightly linear does not mean it is a bad game at all. In fact, it is the opposite for me. I really enjoyed my experience with SHEEPO. The game is super focused at what it wants to do, and you can tell that a ton of thought and care went into every single little platforming segment, puzzle, boss fight, you name it. And the game is only $9, so it's definitely worth the asking price. Also, the art style in this game is super amazing. It's like hand painted, or at least it looks like it, and it's just really stunning. And the music in this game is, I kid you not, one of the best soundtracks I have heard this year. I want to take a second and just play you a small part of one of these songs now. So overall, if you enjoy Metroidvanias, I would highly recommend SHEEPO. It's kind of a smaller scope of a game, but in no way does that affect its quality, and in fact, I think it does the opposite. It's also kind of just nice to play shorter games sometimes that don't demand all the time you have in your life. So I really enjoyed this game, and if you're a fan of Metroidvanias, I think you will too. And if you guys have played SHEEPO or just from watching gameplay, I would love to know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. I love having conversations with you all, and I try to respond to as many people as possible. And if you enjoyed this video, then consider leaving a like down below and subscribing to see more content. I make about 2 to 3 video reviews a week just on a wide variety of games, especially on a lot of indie games. So if you want to see more of those in the future, subscribe and ring that bell like everybody says. And if you guys are having a great day today, I hope you continue having a great day. If you guys aren't having a great day, I hope you guys start having a great day. But either way, guys, I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. See you guys next time.